Hello, and welcome to Story-Driven English. I'm Tom, and today I'll take you on an extraordinary journey to a mysterious Native American tribe where people communicate with eagles, sleep under the stars, and have customs so unusual that scientists are still trying to understand them. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live among people whose traditions have remained unchanged for thousands of years? Or what secrets of happiness and harmony they might hold that our modern world has forgotten? In the next few minutes, you'll discover the fascinating Eagle Feather Tribe and their remarkable way of life. I promise that by the end of the story, you'll not only improve your English vocabulary, but also gain wisdom that might change how you see the world around you. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now. On this channel, we learn English through captivating stories that make vocabulary stick in your mind effortlessly. No boring textbooks, just adventures that bring language to life. Now let's begin our journey to the Eagle Feather Tribe, where ancient traditions and modern curiosity collide. Chapter 1. The Beginning of My Journey. My name is Tom. I am a writer. I like to travel to new places and write about them. Last summer, I went on a special trip. I visited a Native American tribe called the Peaceful Waters. They live in a beautiful place with many trees and a big river. I wanted to learn about their way of life. I wanted to see how they live every day. I wanted to know about their special customs. Native Americans have lived in America for thousands of years. They have many interesting traditions. I packed my bags for the trip. I took clothes, a notebook, a camera, and some food. The journey was long. First, I took a plane to a small city. Then, I rode in a bus for 3 hours. After that, I had to walk for 1 hour through a forest. It was a difficult journey, but I was excited. A guide named Robert helped me. He knows the way to the Peaceful Waters tribe. Robert told me many things about Native Americans as we walked. He said the Peaceful Waters people are known for their kindness. They welcome visitors who come to learn, not to take pictures and leave. The weather was warm. The sun was bright. I saw many beautiful trees and flowers. I heard birds singing. The air smelled fresh and clean. It was very different from the city where I live. As we walked, Robert told me to be respectful. He said I must follow the tribe's rules. I must ask before I take pictures. I must be quiet during special ceremonies. I must not touch sacred objects. I agreed to follow all these rules. Finally, we reached a clearing in the forest. I saw small houses made of wood and some tents. There were people wearing colorful clothes. Some had special decorations in their hair. Children were playing. Dogs were running around. It was a busy place full of life. Robert said, "We are here. This is the home of the Peaceful Waters tribe." My heart beat fast. I was nervous, but happy. My journey to learn about this tribe was about to begin. Chapter 2. First Days with the Tribe. The tribal leader welcomed me to their land. His name was Tall Oak. He was an old man with long gray hair. He wore a special shirt with beautiful designs. Tall Oak had kind eyes and a warm smile. He said I could stay in a small guest house near the river. My guest house was simple but nice. It had a bed, a table, and a chair. The walls were made of wood. There was a small window that looked out at the river. I could hear the water flowing. It was very peaceful. On my first morning, I woke up early. The sun was just coming up. The air was cool and fresh. I saw people going to the river. They were getting water for cooking and washing. Some people were fishing. Everyone was busy with morning tasks. A woman named Morning Flower showed me around the village. She told me about their daily life. The peaceful waters, people wake up with the sun. They work together to get food and take care of their homes. They share everything they have. No one has more than others. I watched as women made baskets from river plants. They were very skilled. Their fingers moved quickly. The baskets had beautiful patterns. Morning Flower said these baskets are used to carry food and store small things. Some special baskets are so tight they can hold water. The men were making tools and hunting weapons. They used wood, stone, and animal bones. One man was making a bow. Another was fixing fishing nets. They worked carefully and talked quietly as they worked. Children did not go to school like in the city. Instead, they learned by watching adults. The older children taught the younger ones how to find berries and nuts. They learned songs and stories from their grandparents. They played games that taught them how to hunt and fish. At midday, everyone stopped working to eat together. The food was simple but good. We had fish from the river, bread made from corn, and berries from the forest. Everyone sat in a big circle. The oldest people were served first, then the children, then everyone else. After eating, the older people told stories. These stories were about their ancestors and the history of their tribe. The stories taught important lessons about courage, honesty, and respect for nature. Everyone listened carefully, even the small children. In the evening, I wrote in my notebook about everything I saw. I wanted to remember all the details of this interesting place. I felt welcome here. The people were kind to me. I was excited to learn more about their special customs in the days to come. Chapter 3. The Morning Ritual. On my third day with the tribe, Morning Flower woke me before sunrise. She said, "Today you will see our morning ritual. It is very important to us." I dressed quickly and followed her to the center of the village. All the people were gathering in a circle. They faced east, where the sun would rise. Everyone was quiet. Even the small children did not speak. The air felt special, like something important was about to happen. Tall Oak stood in the middle of the circle. He held a large shell with some dried plants inside. He lit the plants, and sweet-smelling smoke rose into the air. This is called smudging. The smoke is believed to carry prayers to the Great Spirit. Tall Oak walked slowly around the circle. He waved the smoke toward each person. People used their hands to bring the smoke to their faces. They closed their eyes as if in prayer. Morning Flower whispered to me that the smoke cleans the spirit and prepares us for a new day. Sunrise during the morning ritual. When Tall Oak came to me, he paused. He looked into my eyes and nodded. I did as the others did. I brought the smoke to my face with my hands. The smell was like sweet grass and pine. It made me feel calm and clear. After the smudging, everyone turned to face the exact spot where the sun would rise. An old woman began to sing. Her voice was strong despite her age. Others joined her. The song had no words I could understand, but it was beautiful. It went up and down like the hills around us. As the first light of the sun appeared, everyone raised their arms. Their palms faced the sun as if to catch its light. The singing grew louder. I felt something powerful in that moment. It was as if all the people were connected to each other and to the sun. When the sun was fully visible, the singing stopped. Tall Oak spoke a few words in their language. Then everyone lowered their arms. Morning Flower told me Tall Oak had thanked the sun for returning and asked for blessing on the day's work. After the ritual, people broke into small groups. They talked and laughed as they began their day's work. The serious feeling was gone. Now it was just a normal day. But something had changed in me. I felt more connected to these people and to the nature around us. Morning Flower explained that the morning ritual helps everyone remember what is important. It reminds them that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They believe all things are connected: people, animals, plants, water, and sky. They must respect all these things to live in balance. I wrote detailed notes about the ritual. I tried to remember every step, every sound, and every feeling. This was not just an interesting custom. It was a way of seeing the world that was very different from mine. I had much to learn from these people. Chapter 4: The Food Gathering. One morning, a group of women invited me to join them to gather food. I was happy to go with them. I wanted to see how they find food in the forest. In the city, we buy food from stores. Here, they get food directly from nature. We walked for about 1 hour into the forest. The women carried baskets on their backs. They knew exactly where to go. They followed small paths that I could barely see. They talked quietly and pointed out different plants to me. One woman named Swift Deer showed me which berries are good to eat. Some berries were red and sweet. Others were blue and a little sour. She showed me how to check if the berries are ripe by gently touching them. If they fall into your hand easily, they are ready to eat. Another woman named Quiet Stream taught me about roots. Some plants have roots that can be eaten. She used a small tool made of bone to dig in the soil. She pulled out long, thin roots. She said these roots can be dried and ground into flour. Women gathering medicinal plants in the forest. The oldest woman in our group was called Wise Raven. She knew about plants that can heal sickness. She showed me a plant with small white flowers. She said it helps with stomach pain. She showed me another plant with fuzzy leaves that helps with coughs. As we gathered plants, the women sang soft songs. The songs had rhythms that matched their movements as they picked berries or dug for roots. They told me the songs thanked the plants for giving food and medicine. Every time they took something from the earth, they left a small gift. Sometimes it was a strand of hair. Sometimes it was a pinch of cornmeal from a small bag. swift deer explained that they must give something back when they take from the earth. This keeps everything in balance. I noticed that they never took all the berries from one bush. They always left some. Quiet Stream told me, we leave some for the birds and animals. We also leave some so the plants can grow again next season. If we take everything, there will be nothing in the future. By midday, our baskets were full of berries, roots, and green plants. The women seemed to know hundreds of different plants. They knew which ones are good for food, which ones can heal, and which ones are not safe to touch. On our walk back to the village, Wise Raven told me that knowledge of plants is passed from mothers to daughters. Girls begin learning when they are very young. By the time they are women, they know all the plants in their territory. This knowledge has been saved for many hundreds of years. When we returned to the village, other women were waiting. They helped sort the plants we collected. Some berries would be eaten fresh. Others would be dried for winter. Some plants would be used for medicine. Others would be used to dye cloth or make baskets. Nothing was wasted. That night, we had a meal with berries we had picked just hours before. They tasted better than any berries I had ever bought in a store. I understood why the peaceful waters people thank the earth for its gifts. The food that comes directly from nature is truly special. Chapter 5. The Hunting Lesson. After a week with the tribe, Tall Oak's son, Running Fox, invited me to join a hunting trip. Hunting is mostly done by men in this tribe, though some women also hunt. I was nervous because I had never hunted before, but I wanted to learn. We woke up very early when it was still dark. 5 men gathered near the edge of the village. They carried bows and arrows. One man had a spear. They wore simple clothes in green and brown colors to blend with the forest. Before leaving, the hunters stood in a circle. Running Fox burned some dried sage. The sweet smoke rose into the air. Each hunter took turns standing in the smoke. Running Fox explained that this ritual asks permission from the animal spirits for a successful hunt. We walked silently through the forest. The hunters communicated with hand signals. Running Fox showed me how to walk without making noise. I had to step carefully, avoiding dry leaves and sticks that might crack. It was difficult, and I made many mistakes. Tracking animals through the forest. The hunters looked for animal tracks on the ground. They found deer tracks and followed them. Running Fox pointed to bent grass and broken twigs. These were signs that deer had passed by recently. He could tell how many deer, how big they were, and which way they were going. We came to a small clearing. Running Fox motioned for everyone to stop. He pointed to the other side of the clearing. I didn't see anything at first. Then I noticed movement. It was a deer. Its brown color blended with the trees so well that it was hard to see. One hunter, Silent Step, moved forward very slowly. He had the best aim with the bow. He stopped behind a tree and prepared his arrow. He took a deep breath and held it. Then he stepped out, aimed quickly, and released the arrow. The arrow hit the deer. The deer ran, but not far. The hunters tracked it until they found it lying on the ground. It was no longer alive. I felt sad, but also understood that this was how the tribe gets food. What happened next surprised me. Running Fox knelt beside the deer. He sprinkled some tobacco near its head. He spoke soft words in his language. He was thanking the deer for giving its life so the people could eat. He promised that no part of the deer would be wasted. The hunters worked together to prepare the deer. They were careful and respectful. They used sharp stone knives. Every part of the deer was collected. The meat would be food. The skin would become clothing or containers. The bones would become tools. Even the organs had uses. On our way back to the village, Running Fox explained their hunting rules. They never kill more animals than they need. They never hunt young animals or mothers with babies. They do not hunt certain animals during breeding seasons. These rules ensure that there will always be animals in the forest. When we returned to the village, everyone helped prepare the meat. Some meat was cooked for that day's meal. Some was cut into thin strips to be dried. The dried meat can last through winter when hunting is difficult. That evening, we had a special meal with the fresh deer meat. Before eating, Tall Oak said a prayer of thanks to the deer spirit. I understood that for the Peaceful Waters people, hunting is not just about getting food. It is a sacred relationship with the animals who share their land. Chapter 6. The Medicine Man. In my second week with the tribe, I met the Medicine Man. His name was Eagle Eye. He was Tall Oak's brother. Eagle Eye was not a doctor like in our cities. He was a healer who used plants, prayers, and ancient knowledge to help sick people. Eagle Eye was older than Tall Oak. His face had many lines. His hands looked strong but gentle. He wore a necklace made of different colored stones. His house was at the edge of the village. It was larger than other houses and had many strange objects hanging from the roof. Morning Flower took me to meet him. She said he wanted to talk with me. Inside his house, the air smelled of dried plants and smoke. Many bundles of dried plants hung from a ceiling. There were shelves with stones, feathers, animal teeth, and small bags. Eagle Eye sat on a mat on the floor. He invited me to sit across from him. Between us was a small fire in a stone circle. The smoke went up through a hole in the roof. Eagle Eye looked at me for a long time without speaking. I felt like he could see inside me. Eagle Eye's collection of medicinal herbs and healing tools. Finally, he spoke. He said, "You have come far to learn our ways. This is good. Knowledge should be shared. But some knowledge is sacred. I will show you what I can." His voice was deep and slow. Each word seemed important. Eagle Eye showed me how he makes medicine from plants. He took dried leaves and crushed them in a stone bowl. He mixed them with water and heated the mixture over the fire. The smell was strong but not bad. He said this medicine helps with fever. He showed me different plants and explained what each one can heal. Some help with pain. Others help with cuts and wounds. Some are for stomach problems. Others help with breathing problems. He knows hundreds of plants and their uses. Eagle Eye said that sickness comes when a person is out of balance. The balance could be in the body, the mind, or the spirit. His job is to find what is out of balance and fix it. Sometimes medicine plants are enough. Sometimes prayers and ceremonies are needed. He told me about a healing ceremony called the Sweat Lodge. People sit in a small round house made of bent branches and covered with animal skins. Hot stones are brought inside. Water is poured on the stones to make steam. People pray and sing in the hot steam. The heat helps remove sickness from the body. Eagle, I said, our healing ways are not like yours. Your doctors cut people open. They give strong medicines that sometimes cause more problems. We try to help the body heal itself. We use what the earth gives us. We ask the spirits to help. He showed me a special drum. He said the beat of the drum is like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. When a sick person hears this beat, their own heart begins to beat in the same way. This helps them connect to the healing power of the earth. I asked Eagle how he became a medicine man. He said he was chosen when he was a boy. He had a serious fever. During this fever, he had visions of plants and animals that spoke to him. The previous medicine man said this was a sign. Eagle, I spent 20 years learning from that medicine man before taking his place. Before I left, Eagle gave me a small bag of dried mint leaves. He said to make tea with them if I have trouble sleeping. He told me that all people, no matter where they come from, are connected to the earth. If we listen, the earth will teach us how to stay healthy and live in balance. As I walked back to my house, I thought about Eagle Eye's words. His way of healing was very different from modern medicine. Yet there was wisdom in treating the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. There was wisdom in using natural medicines that have been tested for thousands of years. Chapter 7. The Storytelling Night. One evening, Morning Flower told me about a special event. That night would be the monthly storytelling. All the tribe would gather to hear traditional stories. These stories were very important to their culture. They taught history, values, and lessons about life. After dinner, everyone gathered around a large fire in the center of the village. Old people sat on special mats close to the fire. Parents sat with their children. Some people brought drums and rattles made from dried gourds with seeds inside. Tall Oak started the event with a prayer. He thanked the ancestors for preserving their stories. Then the oldest woman in the tribe, Gray Dove, moved closer to the fire. She was over 90 years old, but her mind was still sharp. Everyone became very quiet. Gray Dove began to tell a story about how the world was created. She said that in the beginning there was only water. The animals lived in the sky or in the water. A water turtle offered to carry soil on its back. Birds brought tiny bits of soil from the bottom of the ocean. The soil grew on the turtle's back until it became the earth we live on now. Nighttime storytelling around the community fire. As she spoke, Gray Dove's voice changed. Sometimes she was loud, sometimes soft. She made animal sounds. She used her hands to show the shape of the turtle and the flying of the birds. Even though I did not understand all the words, I could follow the story. The children watched with wide eyes. They had heard this story many times, but they still loved it. Some of the adults played soft drum beats during exciting parts of the story. The sound of the drums made the story feel more real. After Grey Dove finished, another elder told a story about a young man who went on a journey to find wisdom. He met many animals who gave him advice. Each animal taught him something different. The eagle taught him to see far. The fox taught him to be clever. The bear taught him to be strong but gentle. This story had a message about growing up and finding your path in life. It showed that we can learn from everything around us if we pay attention. The storyteller said this story is told when children reach the age of 12, as they begin their path to becoming adults. Next, a middle-aged man told a funny story about Coyote, a trickster character in many Native American stories. Coyote tried to steal fire from the fire beings. He got the fire, but his tail got burned, which is why coyotes have black tip tails today. The children laughed at Coyote's tricks and mistakes. Between stories, people sang songs. The songs were connected to the stories. Some songs were very old. Morning Flower told me that some songs are hundreds of years old and have been passed down exactly the same way for many generations. The last story was about the tribe's history. It told how they came to live by the peaceful waters many generations ago. They had traveled far to escape enemies. They followed a white deer that led them to this place. When they arrived, they made a promise to protect the land and water. After the last story, people did not leave right away. They sat together talking about the stories. Parents explained parts to their children. Elders added details they remembered from their youth. The stories were not just entertainment. They were a living connection to the past. I realized that these stories were the tribe's way of teaching without schools or books. The stories contained their history, science, values, and spiritual beliefs. By telling these stories again and again, they made sure their culture would continue to the next generation. Chapter 8: The Coming of Age Ceremony. In my third week with the tribe, I was invited to watch a very special ceremony. A girl named Little Fawn was turning 13. This is the age when girls in the tribe become women. They have a special ceremony called the flower ceremony to mark this important change. The women of the tribe spent days preparing. They cleaned a special area in the forest. They gathered flowers and herbs. They made a new dress for Little Fawn. The dress was white with colorful designs. They also made a special headband with flowers. On the morning of the ceremony, Little Fawn went with her mother and grandmother to bathe in the river. This was a ritual washing to show that she was leaving her childhood behind. The cold water of the river was said to give her strength for her new life as a woman. After the bath, Little Fawn was dressed in her new clothes. The women painted symbols on her face with red and black colors. These symbols represented qualities like wisdom, strength, and fertility. They braided her hair and placed the flower headband on her head. Little Fawn dressed in ceremonial attire. In the afternoon, everyone gathered in the special forest area. They formed a circle around a flat stone. Tall Oak and Eagle Eye stood on one side of the stone. The women who had prepared Little Fawn brought her to the circle. She looked nervous but proud. Tall Oak spoke about the meaning of becoming a woman. He said it is a time of power and responsibility. Women bring new life into the world. They teach the children. They keep the home and the community strong. Their wisdom guides the tribe. This is why women are highly respected. Eagle Eye performed a blessing with sage smoke. He sang a song that asked the spirits to guide Little Fawn. The song was very old, sung for countless girls over many generations. The drum beat matched the rhythm of the song. Little Fawn's grandmother gave her a special necklace. It had been worn by women in their family for many generations. The necklace had stones and shells that represented different virtues a woman should have. The grandmother explained the meaning of each stone. Little Fawn stood on the flat stone. She spoke her first words as a woman of the tribe. She promised to learn the women's wisdom. She promised to honor the tribe's traditions. She promised to use her strength to help others. Her voice was clear and strong despite her young age. After her speech, the women of the tribe came forward one by one. Each gave her a small gift and whispered advice in her ear. Some gave practical advice about women's skills. Others gave wisdom about life and relationships. All showed her love and support for her journey as a woman. The men of the tribe stayed in the outer circle. They witnessed the ceremony, but did not participate in this part. Morning Flower explained that some knowledge is only for women. Men have their own ceremonies when boys become men. Each gender has a sacred knowledge that belongs to them. After all the women had given their gifts, there was a feast. Everyone celebrated Little Fawn's new status. There was music and dancing. The celebration lasted until sunset. Little Fawn looked tired but happy. Her life would be different now. She would begin learning women's medicine. She could speak in tribal councils. She could be considered for marriage in a few years. I was honored to witness this beautiful ceremony. It showed how the tribe marks important life changes. In my culture, turning 13 is not such an important event. But I could see the value in publicly recognizing this transition. It gave Little Fawn a sense of purpose and belonging. It connected her to all the women who had come before her. Chapter 9. The Dream Sharing Circle. One morning, I noticed people gathering in a circle near the river. Morning Flower told me it was the Dream Sharing Circle. This happens once every month, when the moon is full. People share important dreams they have had. Dreams are very special to the Peaceful Waters tribe. Morning Flower explained that the tribe believes dreams are messages. Some dreams come from ancestors. Some come from spirit animals. Some come from the Great Spirit. Dreams can give warnings about danger. They can show solutions to problems. They can reveal a person's true path in life. I asked if I could join the circle. Morning Flower said yes, but I should be respectful and quiet. I should only share a dream if Eagle Eye invites me to. This was a sacred time, not just casual conversation. We sat on the ground in a circle. Eagle Eye sat facing east. He held a staff decorated with eagle feathers. He passed a small stone from person to person. When someone held the stone, it was their turn to speak. No one could interrupt them. The dream-sharing circle by the river. The first person to share was an old man. He had dreamed of a bear digging in the ground near the north side of the village. In his dream, the bear found water. Eagle, I said this dream might mean they should dig a new well on the north side. Their current well was getting low. A young woman shared a dream about flying over the forest. She saw a storm coming from the west. In the dream, she warned the birds to build stronger nests. Eagle, I said this dream was a warning. They should strengthen their houses because strong winds might come soon. A boy about 10 years old shared a strange dream. He was fishing in the river and caught a fish that could talk. The fish told him to look for a special plant with blue flowers. The fish said this plant could heal coughs. Eagle, I was very interested in this dream. He said they would look for this plant together. Not everyone shared a dream. Some people came just to listen. Eagle, I said that hearing others' dreams can help you understand your own dreams better. He said dreams speak in symbols. The same symbol might mean different things to different people. To my surprise, Eagle, I passed the stone to me. He said, "Visitor, have you had a dream in our land that you wish to share?" I felt nervous, but honored. I had actually had a strange dream 2 nights before. I told them about my dream. I was walking in an unfamiliar part of the forest. I found an old tree with a door in its trunk. I opened the door, and inside was a room full of books. But the books had no words, only pictures. An old woman in the room said, "You must learn to read without words." The circle was quiet after I shared my dream. Eagle, I closed his eyes for a moment. Then he said my dream was important. He said the old woman was wisdom. The books without words represented knowledge that cannot be written down. It can only be experienced. He said I was beginning to understand their way of knowing the world. After everyone who wanted to share had done so, Eagle, I closed the circle with a prayer. He thanked the dream spirits for their guidance. He asked for clear dreams in the coming month. Then everyone stood and continued with their day's activities. Morning Flower told me that some dreams are private. People only share dreams they feel should be known by the community. Some dreams are personal messages just for the dreamer. Eagle, I helps people understand these private dreams in one-on-one meetings. I thought about how different this was from my culture. We often ignore dreams or think they are just random thoughts while sleeping. But the peaceful waters, people see dreams as another way of knowing. Dreams connect them to wisdom that cannot be reached while awake. I began to pay more attention to my own dreams after this experience. Chapter 10. The Spirit Dance. In my 4th week with the tribe, there was great excitement. People were preparing for the Spirit Dance. This important ceremony happens only twice a year, during the spring and fall equinox. The equinox is when day and night are the same length. The Spirit Dance thanks the spirits for good hunting, healthy children, and protection from enemies. It asks for continued blessings in the coming season. Everyone in the tribe participates in some way. Some are dancers. Others are drummers or singers. Some prepare food or special clothes. For 3 days before the dance, the dancers did not eat food. They only drank water with special herbs. Eagle, I said this fasting helps the dancers connect with the spirit world. Their bodies become lighter. Their minds become clearer. They can feel the presence of spirits more easily. The dancers also spent time in the sweat lodge. This is the small roundhouse where hot stones create steam. The heat and steam clean the body and spirit. The dancers prayed and sang in the sweat lodge. They asked the spirits to enter them during the dance, preparing special drums for the spirit dance. On the day of the spirit dance, people began preparing at sunrise. A large circle was cleared in the center of the village. The ground was swept clean, for poles were placed at the four directions, north, south, east, and west. Each pole was painted a different color and had different symbols. Special costumes were prepared for the dancers. Some wore animal masks: bear, eagle, wolf, or deer. These represented the spirit animals that guide the tribe. Others wore elaborate headdresses with feathers. Some had their bodies painted with symbols of power. The drummers prepared large drums made from hollow logs covered with animal skin. They tested the drums to make sure they had the right sound. The beat of these drums would represent the heartbeat of Mother Earth during the ceremony. As the sun began to set, everyone gathered around the dance circle. The elders sat in places of honor. Children sat with their parents. Tall Oak gave a speech about the meaning of the spirit dance. He said it connects the people to the unseen forces that guide all life. The dance began with the sound of a single drum. The beat was slow and steady. Singers began a low chanting song. The words were in the ancient language of the tribe. Even some tribal members did not understand all the words, but they knew the songs were sacred. The dancers entered the circle from the east. They moved slowly at first. Their steps followed the drum beat. As more drums joined, the rhythm became more complex. The dancers moved faster. They spun and jumped. Some made sounds like the animals they represented. The dance continued for hours. The drums never stopped. Dancers would leave the circle when tired and new dancers would enter. The songs changed, but the beat continued. The firelight made the dancers' shadows look huge against the trees. It was like watching spirits moving. Some dancers began to enter a trance state. Their eyes closed, but they kept dancing. Their movements became less controlled, more fluid. Eagle, I said the spirits were entering them. Through these dancers, the spirits could communicate with the tribe. One dancer, wearing an eagle mask, suddenly stopped in the center of the circle. He raised his arms and spoke in a strange voice. Eagle, I translated for me. The eagle spirit was warning about a dry summer. The tribe should store extra food and be careful with fire. Another dancer, painted with blue symbols, whirled faster and faster until she fell to the ground. When she stood, she spoke of seeing a new healing plant growing near the big rocks. This plant would help with the coughing sickness that sometimes affected the children. The spirit dance continued until dawn. As the first light appeared, the drums slowed. The last song was soft and peaceful. The dancers left the circle in the same order they had entered. People were tired but happy. They believed the spirits had heard them and would help them in the coming season. I had never seen anything like the spirit dance. The power of the drums, the beauty of the costumes, the skill of the dancers, it was all amazing. But most impressive was the complete belief of the people. For them, this was not a performance. It was a real connection to the spirit world that guides their lives. Chapter 11. The Sacred Objects. Near the end of my stay, Tall Oak invited me to see something few outsiders ever see. He would show me the sacred objects of the tribe. These objects are kept in a special house that only certain people can enter. They represent the history and spiritual power of the Peaceful Waters people. The sacred house was smaller than other buildings. It was made of the strongest wood and covered with special designs. It had no windows. The single door faced east, toward the rising sun. 2 elders always guarded this house, taking turns day and night. Before we could enter, Tall Oak performed a cleansing ritual. He burned sage and cedar. The smoke circled around us. He said prayers in the ancient language. He explained that we must be pure in body and spirit before approaching the sacred objects. Inside, the house was dim. The only light came from a small fire in the center. The air smelled of sweet grass and old leather. The walls were lined with woven mats. Various objects rested on raised platforms covered with special cloths. The sacred house where tribal treasures are kept. Tall Oak showed me a very old pipe made of red stone. The stem was wooden with eagle feathers hanging from it. He said this is the peace pipe. It has been in the tribe for 15 generations. It is used only for the most important ceremonies. When people smoke this pipe together, they make promises that cannot be broken. Next was a drum unlike any I had seen before. It was smaller, but had beautiful paintings all over it. Tall Oak said this is the voice drum. It is believed to carry prayers directly to the Great Spirit. Only the spiritual leader can play this drum. It is used only 4 times each year, during the solstices and equinoxes. He showed me a bundle wrapped in soft deer skin. Inside was an arrowhead made of a clear stone. Tall Oak said this arrowhead fell from the sky long ago. It guided the tribe to this land. It glows on its own during certain nights of the year. When danger threatens the tribe, the arrowhead becomes warm to warn the leader. There was a necklace made of unusual blue stones. Tall Oak said these stones come from a sacred mountain far to the west. Long ago, a tribal member made a difficult journey to bring these stones back. They represent the 5 virtues every tribal member should have: courage, honesty, wisdom, generosity, and respect. One platform held a small clay pot with symbols carved all around it. Tall Oak explained that this pot contains soil from all the places the tribe has lived throughout their history. When they moved to a new place, they would take some of the soil with them. This connects them to all their ancestral lands. Most impressive was a large white eagle feather mounted on a staff. The feather was perfectly preserved despite its great age. Tall Oak said this came from a rare white eagle that appeared to the first leader of the tribe. The white eagle is their most powerful spirit guide. This feather is brought out only when the tribe must make life-changing decisions. Tall Oak spoke quietly as he showed me each object. He told the story of how each came to the tribe. He explained its powers and when it is used. He said these objects are not just symbols. They contain real spiritual power that has been built up over many generations of prayer and ceremony. I asked Tall Oak why he was showing me these things. He said, "You have come with respect. You have learned our ways with an open heart. You will tell others about us. I want you to understand that our spiritual beliefs are not simple superstitions. These sacred objects connect us to powers that your people have forgotten." Before we left, Tall Oak asked me not to take pictures of the sacred objects. He said their power cannot be captured in images. He also asked me not to write about certain details. Some knowledge is only for those who experience it in the proper way. I promised to respect his wishes. As we walked back to the village, I felt honored by the trust Tall Oak had shown me. The sacred objects were beautiful, but more beautiful was the living tradition they represented. For hundreds of years, these objects had been at the center of the tribe's spiritual life. They connected each generation to those who came before and those who would come after. Chapter 12. Saying Goodbye. My time with the Peaceful Waters tribe was coming to an end. I had been with them for 1 month. I had learned so much about their way of life. I had seen ceremonies and customs that few outsiders ever see. I had made friends. Now it was time to return to my world. On my last evening, the tribe held a special meal for me. Everyone brought food to share. There was deer meat, fish, cornbread, wild berries, and many dishes made from plants I had never eaten before. It was a feast to honor our friendship. During the meal, people came to sit beside me. They shared memories of my time with them. Running Fox talked about our hunting trip. Little Fawn, now a woman of the tribe, thanked me for witnessing her ceremony. The children gave me small gifts they had made, a bracelet of woven grass, a small clay figure, a drawing of the village. After we ate, Tall Oak asked me to speak to the tribe. I was nervous. What could I say to these people who had shared so much with me? I thanked them for their kindness and hospitality. I told them I had learned more than I could ever write in a book. I promised to tell others about their beautiful way of life with respect and honesty. The farewell gathering with the entire tribe. Tall Oak then spoke. He said I had come as a stranger, but was leaving as a friend. He said my visit had a purpose. In the future, more people from the outside world would come to their lands. Some would want to take their resources. Others would want to change their way of life. My stories would help people understand why their traditions should be respected. Morning Flower gave me a special gift. It was a small pouch made of soft leather. Inside were seeds from different plants that grow in their territory. She said I should plant these seeds near my home. When they grow, I will remember the Peaceful Waters people. The plants will connect me to their land even when I am far away. Eagle, I performed a blessing ceremony for my journey. He used sage smoke and special prayers. He said the spirits would watch over me as I traveled. He gave me a small stone that had been in the river for many years. He said this stone would remind me to flow with life's changes, just as water flows around stones. The children performed a dance they had practiced. It told the story of a bird that flies far away but always returns home. They had made wings from leaves and feathers. They moved gracefully around the fire. Their faces were serious as they concentrated on remembering the steps. As the evening grew late, people began to return to their homes. They hugged me and wished me safe travels. Some had tears in their eyes. I felt sad too. I had become part of this community in a small way. Leaving was harder than I expected. In the morning, I packed my things. I had arrived with one bag, but I was leaving with much more. I had gifts, notes, drawings, and most importantly, memories. My notebook was full of stories and observations. But the most valuable things I had learned could not be written down. Robert, the guide who had brought me to the village, came to take me back. Several people walked with us to the edge of the tribal lands. At the boundary, marked by a line of special stones, we stopped for final goodbyes. Tall Oak spoke last. He said, "You have seen our ways. You have learned our stories. Now you have a responsibility. Tell the truth about who we are." Many people think we are simple or primitive. They do not understand that our traditions contain deep wisdom. We have lived in harmony with the earth for countless generations. Perhaps your people can learn something from our ways. I promised Tall Oak I would honor his request. I would tell others about the wisdom I had found among the Peaceful Waters people. I would help others understand that there are different ways of knowing the world, different ways of living well. As Robert and I walked away, I looked back one last time. The people of the Peaceful Waters tribe stood together watching us go. Their way of life was not easy in many ways. They worked hard for their food. They did not have modern conveniences. But they had something many in the modern world have lost, a deep connection to the earth, to their ancestors, and to each other. On the long journey home, I thought about what I would write in my book. I could describe the ceremonies and customs. I could tell about the food, clothes, and houses. But how could I explain the feeling of sitting in the dream circle? How could I describe the power of the spirit dance? How could I make others understand the wisdom in their simple but meaningful way of life? I realized that some things must be experienced to be truly understood, but I would do my best to share what I had learned. The story of the Peaceful Waters tribe was not just about an ancient culture surviving in the modern world. It was about remembering what is truly important, living in balance with nature, respecting all forms of life, and keeping the wisdom of the past alive for future generations. Vocabulary words for English learners. Tribe, a group of people who share the same culture and language. Custom, a traditional way of doing things. Ceremony, a formal event for a special occasion. Ritual, a set of actions done in a fixed way. Tradition, beliefs, or customs passed from one generation to another. Ancestors, people in your family who lived long ago. Sacred, connected to God or a religious purpose. Spirit, the part of a person that is not physical. Herbs, plants used for food, medicine, or flavor. Medicine man, a person who uses traditional methods to heal people. Elder, an older, respected person in a community. Wisdom, knowledge gained from experience. Balance, a state where different things exist in the right amounts. Nature, the physical world, including plants, animals, and landscapes. Harmony, when different things work well together. Journey, traveling from one place to another. Guide, a person who shows others the way. Respect, a feeling of admiration for someone or something. Communicate, to share information with others. Experience, something that happens to you that affects how you feel. Thank you for listening to today's story from Story Driven English. I hope you enjoyed this journey to the Eagle Feather Tribe and learned some new English words and phrases along the way. If you found this story helpful for your English learning, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends who are also learning English. Do you have any questions about the vocabulary in this story? Or perhaps you want to share your thoughts about the unique customs of the Eagle Feather Tribe. Leave a comment below. I read all your comments and love hearing from you. For more engaging stories that will help you improve your English in a natural and fun way, subscribe to Story Driven English and turn on notifications. We post new stories every week, each designed to help beginners master everyday English vocabulary. Remember, learning English through stories makes it easier to remember new words and understand how they're used in real contexts. See you in our next adventure. Until then, keep practicing your English every day.